Really, so we've seen these with a lot of these storms right now. These are tracking east and northeast really slowly. So that's causing also, we've seen some flash flood warnings down to the south. There's probably going to be some ponding of the roads on top of the threat here for some strong winds. And you can see actually, Sarah, if we zoom out just a little bit more here, this storm really popping up, it looks like in the last 15, 20 minutes or so. But it's this area right along Highway 16 and then Highway 63 that's running north and south out of Rochester and then eventually into western parts of Fillmore County. There's some more storms west. I know a lot of these are not severe at the moment here, but right along 90 and 35 between Albert Lee right now and Austin. These storms are really firing up. I think these storms here in northwestern Mower County and Freeborn County, this is mainly a rain threat here and some heavy rainfall, but I still think right along this line there could be some small hail. But again, this warning here in western parts of Fillmore County and eastern Mower County, that's been sparked up, again, a severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to run until 4:45. Again, main threats appear to be winds of about 60 miles an hour and also some large hail. Sarah, do you have anything?
Let's scroll in. We can take a peek here at if there is hail being produced as we speak. Let me get it so it stops looping.
And Nate, why don't we go to Sarah too in the Weather Center? She can do both. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, perfect.
Double box here.
So taking a peek at the hail here does start to show us some of the purples, the pinks, indicating that there is larger hail. Now it's larger than at least a nickel. Let's see if we can get some numbers going along with this.
Yeah, so this is in this little area, again, that's kind of the cell area that you can see some hail. And some of these, I mean, this is going up pretty good, Sarah, isn't it? I mean, this is getting close to golf ball size hail.
Yeah, this one, and it popped very fast too. I mean, we've been keeping an eye on these storms really since everything has been activated, and that was around 1 p.m. today. And this is the first severe warned storm, so that means it's the first that's showing us that it's got some stronger winds, it's got some heavier hail, and damaging hail at that. I mean, if we're getting close to the 2-inch range, the radar tends to be, makes it a little bit larger than what it could be, but honestly, it's quite big when we start to see those pinks and purples. Let's take a peek here at velocity, which is just going to show us if there's any rotation associated with this particular system.
And it looks like right now, it doesn't look, Sarah, like there's any rotation within this, but if you can look at some of those brighter reds embedded in here, that's probably showing some really strong winds. Again, you can probably see, the last couple of rounds of tornadoes we've seen in the KIMT viewing area. You'll see the greens and the reds that are really tightly round. The greens usually showing toward radar and red away, so you get some of the rotation. There doesn't look like there's any rotation in here, but the red, when it gets really bright like this, that's usually an indication that some of these winds could be above 50, even 60 miles an hour. So, Sarah, let's zoom in a little bit further here. See, we can see if there's any towns near this. I'm guessing. So we have Grand Meadow just down the road.
Spring Valley.
Maybe take off some of that lightning.
Yeah, I'll pop that off. There we go.
Yeah, so it looks like Frankfurt. I believe this is Highway 63 is this way. So this is Highway 16, I believe, that's rolling right through here. Frankfurt is probably under the gun here. It looks like just to the east right now of Grand Meadow. And just to, this storm is just west right now of Spring Valley. Again, this is pushing east to northeast. So when there's a severe thunderstorm warning, best thing to do is make sure you're getting inside. Make sure you're away from windows because you can get winds above 60 miles an hour. And when you get strong winds and large hail, some of that hail can get thrown right against the windows and the doors and your siding and can cause damage. So this storm, again, is going to run until 4:45. For that severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, Sarah, this is the only severe thunderstorm warning out there, but we have that severe thunderstorm watch still in play for most of the viewing area.
Absolutely. The only counties that are not under the watch currently are Olmsted, Dodge, and Fillmore County. Surprisingly enough, with the severe thunderstorm warning going up in Fillmore County as well as Mower. So we're keeping a close eye on the areas, of course, that are under the particular the severe thunderstorm watch, which is the majority of the KIMT viewing area, not to mention to the south and to the west. We've been watching a few storms just to the south. Now, not necessarily in our area, but they were on the severe warn scale. It looks like those warnings have gone off. However, a flash flood warning still is in effect just to the south. So if you have friends over there, perhaps if you are making your way towards there or away from there, keep in mind that the roadways seeing quite a bit of rain, and not just here in Iowa, but really all across the KIMT viewing area. Although not a lot of us under that severe warning, we're still seeing a lot of rain embedded within these particular cells. So let's go back to Chris. Chris, talk a little bit again about the rotation. We'll just take a peek here and see if there's anything that has developed since.
Yeah, so we'll get you back to programming in about a minute or two. We just want to make sure, the reason we're staying on, I just want to make sure with this storm developing, there's a little notch in there, and I don't want to have to jump off and then jump back on if this does go towards a tornado warning. It does not look like that's an indication right now that the National Weather Service is going to put this out. But here's the velocity data right now. This is what we call storm relative velocity. Again, we look for the greens and the reds that are close together. That shows a nice little tight couplet, and that's a good indication that there's rotation or circulation within the storm, which means that there could be some rotation getting close to the ground, or you guessed it, maybe a tornado. But that's not the case right now. I think there's just some strong winds associated with this. So this is right along, again, as I mentioned earlier, Highway 16 and Highway 63. This is just now east of Dexter. But it does include, it looks like Bloomfield, Spring Valley, Fillmore. There's a lot of communities in this. If we can do maybe a storm track on this cell going east-northeast, and I believe it's only going at about 10 miles an hour, Sarah.
Yep.
So it's crawling around. So again, this is right on the border here of eastern Mower and portions of Fillmore County. So it looks like just a couple of spots here in the next 10 to 15 minutes that will be impacted by this storm. But again, main threats will be large hail. We've had a hail indication from our Doppler radar close to 2 inches, so that's close to golf ball size hail. Frequent lightning we'll see, heavy downpours, and there could be some winds close to 60 miles an hour. We're going to get you back to programming. Again, if there are any other warnings that take place, we'll let you know. Otherwise, we're going to have team coverage coming up at 6 because of the severe weather. We'll get you back to programming.